Hi guys, welcome. Welcome to the live. I really appreciate everyone here. Thank you for being a fan of Creative Abundance Now and being patient me with, well, last week I actually broadcasted on the wrong channel. But this week I'm here, so I'm going to tell you about the All Seasons portfolio today. And what does that mean? It means a portfolio of like stocks and bonds and like a mix of things so that your investments always do well. Or if the stock market is like on a down, they won't do as bad as the stock market. So you'll beat the market basically. So where did I get this information? I got it from the book Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. So this is the inspiration. This is a really good book. I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you have a financial advisor. And it's also based on this book, Random Walk Guide to Investing. And yeah, so that's about it. That's all I got to say for that. Now, let me just hold on one second here. On over, but acting a little funny right now. Hold on. So let me tell you a little bit of myself while I'm getting my computer to act properly. So before we begin, let me tell you who I am and why I talk about these things. What's my deal? You know, why am I here? And to give you an idea of what you can learn from me. Okay, so my name is May Dalio. I live in Honolulu, Hawaii, with my husband Jamel and my 6-year-old son Jordan. He just turned 6. He just started preschool. So cool. I used to have a lot of debt, over $46,000 of debt back in 2011. And I know because I was cleaning up, you could tell I got a mess in the back, but I was cleaning up paperwork because we moved into this place we just bought in Waikiki. And I found my old numbers of how much I owed, all the money I owed, and all kinds of things. And I realized that I had that much. I owed that much in 2011, January 2011, because I was going through credit counseling. So that's how I know that I did. So just so you guys understand that is a lot of money for me because I was working a bank job. I was a banking assistant in private banking division. So I had a job that paid me $35,000. It was actually, I'm rounding up. It didn't pay me $35,000. It paid me less than $35,000. But anyway, hold on one second. I'm resolving this. It's good. Okay, so hopefully I can go in here and finally finish what I was doing. Maybe. That's so weird. Okay. Oh my God. What is going on here? Hello. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out how to update so my email list can watch. Thank God, finally. Okay. Oh my God. Finally figured it out. Jeez. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Shoots. That took a while. Okay, I finally figured it out. I don't know what was going on with my website. But okay, so now the YouTube video is now broadcasting live on the blog. Yay, thank God. All right. Back to the story. And so I used to have a lot of debt. Okay, like I'm talking $46,000 of debt. So what happened? I paid it all off. My husband had even more debt because he had a car that was he had a car that had a car loan on it. Okay. And then he also had, what did he have? He had a car with a car loan, but he also had issues with his house. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I hit the button and then it's like started the live and I'm totally prepared. But anyway, He had a house that was underwater, all right? And he owed over $200,000, okay? Because the mortgage was like $400,000. The house was worth $200,000. He had a full mortgage due. He had a second mortgage. He had zero equity. And then he had another $200,000 net loss because the property was worth half of what the mortgage was, okay? So he was underwater. That was during the housing crisis. And that was his biggest one. And then he had a credit card debt and the car loan. And those were his debts, right? But it was way over $200,000 of debt. So his debt situation was actually worse than mine. But by 2016, we were debt-free, all right? We were completely debt-free. So we got married in 2012, 2016, debt-free. We'd improved our net worth since I got married in 2016 by $500,000. Now, half of that was getting rid of the debt, obviously. The other half was just investing. The market went up, things like that. The biggest difference, though, I think, is that we were making about $500 a month in passive income every month. All right. And this is money from mostly dividend yielding stocks. And the money came into our brokerage account. I transferred it onto our accounts and paid ourselves this income every month. And that gave me the confidence to quit my job. And I quit my job in December of 2016. Never went back since. I've been doing internet marketing. Before, when I had the job, I was doing internet marketing. I continued to do it part-time, and I shifted to being a full-time mother. I created a bunch of mastermind programs online where I help people do what we did, which is increase your net worth and increase your passive income and pay yourself your passive income so that you can shift away from working for money and work because you want to, work because it's fulfilling, work because you want to grow and learn and contribute. And that's what my mission is to help you do that. Now, for me, I wanted to quit because I wanted to have more time with my son. I wanted to be a mother, all right? I had a very humble wish to be a mother. And in this day and age, sometimes it's hard. You feel like you have to work a job just to get by. So we got to the point where I didn't have to. I didn't have to work a job to get by anymore. I could quit it and we would still be fine. So I quit my job, pulled Jordan out of school for a whole year when he was 4. And the reason I did it was not, he actually, preschool I think is great, but he was getting sick so much. Like every month he would be sick for a week or two out of that month. And it was going on for 4 months in a row. I pulled him out of school at the end of the summer program, and he was out for a whole year. And guess what happened? He got healthy. He never got sick again. All right. I think he had maybe one cold that lasted a day. Okay. That was it. So he was healthy. But not only that, he was healthy. Then my husband stopped getting sick. I stopped getting sick. None of us got sick anymore. No more colds. That means we don't have to go to the doctor and get antibiotics anymore. Suddenly, no need for antibiotics. It's just amazing the change you can make in your life when you have more time freedom. So I was cooking more. I got healthier. I exercised more. I started going to chiropractic treatments. I straightened my teeth. And then in that first year, and listen, I'm not working a full-time job anymore, but I'm looking at our investments. I'm investing more wisely because now I know what to do, right? And we bought property. We bought our condo. We moved into a condo we lived in. Then we bought another condo in 2018 that we converted. It was an Airbnb business that we just continued doing. And my mom actually manages and cleans it. So she's getting paid to do that. So it's like income for my mother. And then we also moved out of the first property we were living in. We ended up converting that into an Airbnb business. We trained our manager, who happened to be our mastermind member, who quit his job to start his own cleaning company. And he ended up managing and cleaning that one. And we sold it to him this year. And he now has a profitable Airbnb business. We got the money to buy this 2-bedroom condo where we now live in Waikiki. It's twice as big as the first condo we moved into. And it's right up the road from the beach. So I've been going surfing every week. I went surfing on Monday. I went surfing on Tuesday. Today I'm running. So probably not going to surf, but I mean, it's just great. I love surfing. I love just jumping out on the water and getting wet. Today, I wanted to focus more on financial stuff. So that's why we're doing this webinar today. So now I own 2 properties, 1 investment. We also still make passive income over $500 a month and growing. And I have my mastermind group. So that's what I do for a living now. I'm a part-time internet marketer, finance freedom coach. And I call myself a finance freedom coach. I do not tell people how to invest their money. I teach them how to find a good investment and how to make their own investment choices, how to take control of your money yourself, okay? Because honestly, everybody wants some of your money, okay? A lot of people out there, if you don't know what you're doing with money, you're going to lose it to someone who knows what to do with your money more. And we've learned from a lot of research on this blog and in general that financial advisors, you don't need one unless your situation is different. Like maybe you're an ultra high net worth person and your financial advisor is a genius. But for average people like me, you don't need a financial advisor. In this book, the Random Walk Guide to Investing, and also this book, which is very famous, Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel, cited in a lot of books. So I decided to read this one. I'm going to read this one next. He basically teaches you how to invest your money better than 90% of money managers. All right. So you will be better than a financial advisor. So if you find a financial advisor and you're like me, you work a bank job or you're just a regular person, you're not ultra wealthy. Okay. I'm talking to regular middle class, lower middle class, even just working folk. You should he says to fire your financial advisor. So fire them, okay? Fire your financial advisor. If you want to know why, read these books. This one's shorter, easier to read. So if you don't know anything about money and you want to know why, this is a good book. It'll teach you about money in a really easy to read way, okay? This one I hear is more technical. So maybe just read this one. I'm going to read this one because I'm a geek, okay? So now that we've fired our financial advisor, all right, what do we do, right? We have valid questions. If you're starting to save money and you're putting it in a 401k and you want to know what to do with it, this is the excellent book I recommend, okay? Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game. I read through this whole book and I've been listening to it for months on audio. And it's just kind of starting to sink into my brain. But basically, this is for people who are just working a job and putting money aside in a 401k or an IRA. And they're just doing whatever. This is the book for you. This is awesome. It tells you what to do with your 401k. And today is what we're going to talk about. Now, there's other books that I've been reading, all right? And they recommend a lot of different strategies. So right now, my family, we're very heavily invested in stocks and real estate. And that's basically because Jamel's prior work life had an IRA, had a 401k. Mine did too, but I cashed out the whole thing to buy our first property because I was like, we need to buy real estate. This book, Who Took My Money by Robert Kiyosaki and with Sharon Letcher, this book talks about velocity of money, which means you don't want to keep it buried and just sitting there because it's going to lose money. You have to keep moving your money to make money, okay? So this is the opposite almost of this, okay? But they're both interesting and I think they're both useful. So today we're going to focus on what is in Tony Robbins' book, okay? And maybe next week we'll focus on what's in this book, all right? Because I think this book is more exciting, honestly. But anyway, it's okay. These books basically say investing is boring, put it there, leave it there, hold it forever. It's really what they're saying, okay? And they have a valid point because if you don't know what you're doing and you're moving your money around, you're losing money, okay? Now, if you know what you're doing, like this guy, that's different, okay? But if you don't know what you're doing, then it is better to leave your money alone. It is better not to touch it because most people, if they're starting to move their money around, they just lose money. It's just the way it is. And if you don't believe me, start doing it and see what happens to your money, okay? And you probably will because you don't know until you've done it. I know because I've done it, all right? I've done things and I'm like, that didn't work. I don't know what I'm doing. So this is the Magic All Season Portfolio. I'm going to show it to you and explain it to you. So basically you take all your money that you're investing in your 401k and you divide it this way. Okay. You don't need a financial advisor to help you with this. It's really simple. All right. The first thing is Look, do you see stocks? Stocks are only 30%. Now, usually everybody has way more invested in stocks, okay? Now, in this all-weather portfolio, he's saying 30% in stocks. So right now, me and my husband and I mean, we were very heavy in stocks before. We already I sold off all my stocks. But my husband still has a very large quantity of stocks. And we have stocks too, and we're overly invested in stocks right now. Okay, so that's why I wanted to look at this chapter, and I wanted to go over it because I want to change our actually asset allocation probably to this, if I'm not doing the velocity of money thing, or at least with Jamel's 401k until we figure out something better. Okay, so 15% is in intermediate U.S. bonds. 40% is long-term U.S. bonds, 7.5% is commodities, and 7.5% is gold. Okay. Now, if you forget the allocations, you probably can Google it, or you can just go to my blog. There's a link under this YouTube video. If you're on the blog, I will be putting the allocations in the blog after when I edit the blog. Okay, but these are the allocations of the all seasons portfolio. Why would you do these allocations? Now, he had them tested. Tony Robbins took these allocations and he back tested. He went through the market and said, how would they do compared to the market? So basically, just under 10%, it got 9.72 after all fees return every year. So that's a 9% return. That's really high, okay? Really high return, 9.72% return. That's super high, all right? That's what this portfolio averaged over time, all right? So that's really high. You would have made money just over 86% of the time. There were only 4 down years. So they were tracking 30 years from 1984 to 2013. Okay, just so you guys understand when they were tracking. You would have only lost money 4 down years. And the average loss was only 1.9%. Now, understand this. This is during the housing crisis, the dot-com crisis. During these times, you only lost money 4 times, 4 years, okay? And he says that the average loss was only 1.9%, and one of the 4 losses was just 0.03%. So basically, it's like you broke even. So effectively, you lost money only 3 out of 30 years. So that's a big deal. The worst down year was 3.93% in 2008, when the S&P 500 was down 37%. You only lost 3.93, and that was the worst year. So, investor nerd alert, standard deviation was just 7.63%, which means that the portfolio had very low risk and low volatility. All right? So that's the difference, okay? The all seasons portfolio beats the S&P, and he has like charts here that show that. The largest loss the S&P ever had in a year was 43%. The largest loss for the all seasons portfolio was 3.93%, okay? The average loss was 11.4%, and the average loss for the all seasons was negative 1.63, okay? So they're both negative. In 75 years, the S&P lost money 18 times. In the same period, the all seasons portfolio lost money just 10 times, all right? And if you go back even further to 1927, in 87 years through 2013, the S&P lost money 24 times. That's 27%. The all seasons portfolio only lost money 14 times. Okay, so 10 times less, which means 73 years of positive returns. In the heart of the Depression, the 4 consecutive losing years, the S&P lost 64.4%. During the same 4-year period of 1929 to 1932, the all seasons portfolio had a total loss of 20.55%, which is 59% better than the S&P. The average loss for the S&P is 13.66, where the average loss was just 3.65 for the all seasons portfolio. Okay? So, And then he has this nice thing of percentage growth. And you can see the percentage growth of the all seasons beats the S&P over time from 2000 to 2014. So this is created by a guy named Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is apparently he predicted the housing and lending boom would end badly. Later, he warned the Bush administration that many of the world's large banks were on the verge of insolvency. In 2008, a disastrous year for Bridgewater. Bridgewater is the fund that Ray Dalio is in charge of. His rivals did really bad in 2008, but Pure Alpha, his fund, rose by 9.5% after accounting fees. Last year, the Pure Alpha fund rose 45%, the highest return of any big hedge fund. Okay, so this is recommended by Ray Dalio. He's super smart. He recommends this for average people, all right? His fund never loses money, but he's not working with average people. He's working with the ultra wealthy, and he doesn't accept new people, apparently. So it's like too late. But basically, this strategy will work. So how do you do it? And that's what this webinar is about. Okay, so how do you do it? You don't have a financial advisor, so what do? Go into your 401k. All right, it's really simple. All right. Take a look at it. How much money do you have in it? What is it in? All right. Maybe you have one of those ready mix funds, target date retirement funds, or whatever. So if you want to change to the all seasons portfolio, you take all the money you have in there and you divide it. So let's say you have 26,000. I don't know. I'm just making up a number in my head. Okay. And I'm not making it even so that you can see what a real number would do. All right. So let's say you have $26,000 and it's all in a target date fund. Okay? 26,000 all in a target date fund. How would you do this allocation? All right? Now you want to get your money out of the target date fund because that has its own allocation, unless it's an all seasons target date fund, in which case just keep it there, I guess. Wouldn't be a target date fund because all seasons are always the same. So take your money out of the fund it's in and put it in these funds here. So 26,000. So this is how you would do the math. Get a calculator. I'm looking at my phone. All right. I'm putting in 26,000. See that? Now I multiply it by the percentages. So the first one, the easy one, is stocks, right? It's 30%. So you need to have $7,800 in stock. So what you do, and you might get your 401k administrator to help you, might call for assistance, but basically tell them how much money you want in each fund. So just figure it out. So if you have 26,000, write it on paper first. All right. Get a piece of paper. I will get a piece of paper too. And write down on it, okay? $7,800 in stocks. I don't know how your 401k works. They might actually let you do percentages, but this is what you would do. This is how you do it. $26,000, and then you multiply it by 40%, 0.4, right? And you get $10,400. So $10,400 are going to be in long-term U.S. bonds. All right. Next one, intermediate bonds. So 26,000 times 0.15, 15%, 3,900. So $3,900 are going to be an intermediate U.S. bonds. Okay. The last two are commodities. So 26,000 times 0.075. Okay, 7.5%. $1,950 is going to be in gold, and $1,950 is going to be in commodities. Okay, there you go. So how do you do that in your 401k? You go in your 401k and you look for those kinds of funds. Now, you might have it so that they don't have gold, all right? Your fund might not have gold. Your fund might not have commodities. If that is the case, then what you're going to do is you're going to have to open a separate brokerage account, maybe with Schwab or E-Trade or TD Ameritrade, whatever. Pick one of those online brokerage accounts, open it, and put in the amount of money you need to make this percentage. Okay, and you might, if you have to take it out of your 401k, you could do that. You could borrow out of it or something, but you need to somehow get all the things in there. All right. So whether it's an IRA, 401k, if you're doing an IRA, you'll probably find everything you need because brokerage firms have everything. 401ks can be very limited though. They definitely will have stocks. Okay. Now that you know how much you need to put in each category, this guy right here, and also this guy, both of them, okay, because he also knows about this guy's research. This guy is a professor, did a lot of research. This guy knows about this guy. He's in this book. But basically, only use index funds, all right? Index funds, that's it. Don't use an actively managed fund, all right? And I know sometimes it's hard to tell, but usually in 401ks these days, now they have a lot of index funds now, okay? If yours doesn't, that might be a problem, but let's just say yours does. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take the money. You're going to say, I want to buy $7,800 in stocks. Okay, so you just find a stock fund. Now this guy, Malkiel, he recommends you do all stocks in the entire market, not just S&P, not large cap, not mid cap, not small cap. He says do everything. So it includes large cap, mid cap, small cap, all of it. That would be like a total stock fund, US stock fund, complete stock fund. So look for one that has all stocks. And he said you can just do US stocks. You don't have to do international. You can if you want, but you don't have to because a lot of US companies are international anyway. So they're already in other countries, but it's your call. So you take it and you invest $7,800 in stocks. Now you might have all your money in stocks right now. Who knows? My financial advisor, who I guess I need to fire. But anyway, he has Jamel's money all in large cap stocks, okay? But this guy recommends all stocks, index fund, no active manager, just an index fund. Very low fee, okay? Look at the expense ratio, make sure it's low, make sure the fees are low. He recommends something like Vanguard, TIAA Cref. There's a lot. Okay, so you just have to look at what's available. Find an index fund with a low expense ratio that's all stocks, all right? Mid cap, large cap, all of them. US stocks, okay? So that would be 30%. 10,400 goes into long-term US bonds. Usually, most of these 401ks have something about that. So you can find a long-term US bond index fund. Now remember, everything's index fund, okay? So find an index fund, low expense ratio, not actively managed, put $10,400 in long-term US bonds, okay? Then take $3,900 and put them in intermediate term US bonds. So it's going to be a different index fund that's intermediate term and long-term. Now I was just looking in Schwab just now. It was really easy to find a lot of long-term and intermediate term. You can go to Vanguard and see them. But if you're working within your own 401k, you're gonna have to look within your own 401k. Next, gold. All right, you can either buy actual gold if you want. All right, so just get a certain amount of gold and keep it in a safe deposit box. You're more than welcome to do that. That's the Chinese way of doing it. Another way to do it is to buy a gold index. All right, and I found one. I think it was BAR, and that was a gold index, BAR. It's a gold trust. The investment seeks to reflect generally the performance of the price of gold. The shares are intended to constitute a simple and cost-effective means of making investments similar to an investment in gold. So this is not, you're not actually buying actual gold, but it's an index fund, gold trust, where that's what the whole thing is based on, gold. You have to investigate it more, but hopefully, if your 401k has something like that, now I don't think mine had anything like this, so you might not. But if you don't, like I said, you have options. You can buy actual gold, okay? Buy actual gold or do something like that kind of a fund. The last one, commodities, same thing. Find a fund that has commodities, all right? Commodities are things like agriculture, right? Grains, corn, things like that, livestock. Commodities are energy, oil, gas, things like that. Also, commodities are metals, platinum, silver, all these kinds of things. So basically find index funds that are in commodities. 7.5% of your money goes into commodities, all right? So that's how you set it up, all right? And it's not too hard to find the funds. You just have to look up in your 401k, ask someone, your 401k administrator, you can call them for help and just ask them, tell them what you want to do, tell them you have this allocation and that you want to buy this much in each. Now, like I said, if they don't have gold or commodities in, as you're going to have to open a separate account and invest there. All right. You might have to put aside your own money that's not from your 401k deduction, or you could, I don't know, withdraw, but then you have tax implications if you draw from your 401k. So you have to talk to your tax advisor, but basically set it up so you have all those allocations. That's the all seasons portfolio. Okay. Now, every year, go in, calculate your balance, and reallocate. That's called rebalancing. How would you do that? Let's say next year, your whole account is worth, let's say it was a down year. So let's say you start out with 26,000 and this year it's worth 24. Okay, so it's worth 24,000, right? So that's 7,200. So make sure 7,200 of that amount is in stocks, and then bonds would be, so you do 24,000 times 0.4, and you get 9,600. Make sure $9,600 of your money is in the long-term U.S. bonds. 24,000 times 15%, 0.15. 3,600 should be intermediate bonds. So you're going to look and you're going to see maybe stocks are worth more than the other ones. So you got to sell off some stocks and buy more bonds. Maybe bonds are worth more. Sell off some bonds, buy more stocks. Do you see what I mean? Commodities might be worth more. Sell off commodities to buy whatever. And make sure you have those amounts, the correct amounts that you calculate at the end, and do it once a year. So 24,000 times 0.075, which is the 7.5%, is $1,800. Okay? So you got the idea? Do that once a year. That's how you can be your own financial advisor. Save yourself money. All right? Just do that. Just allocate that way. This is the simple strategy. If you have like a company that matches your retirement money and you're putting it in and you're not sure what to do and you're just doing a target date fund, I highly recommend you rethink that strategy and maybe try an all seasons portfolio. Now, obviously, I think you should read the book to find out why. It'd probably be good for you. Definitely read this book. But basically, you can do this all on your own. And he also has websites in this book, but basically like Vanguard, places, you can just go there and get funds if you need to. You can do mutual fund investing, EFT investing, depending on your situation. He recommends in mutual funds, index fund mutual funds. And in your 401k, that's all you're going to have is mutual funds. So thank you so much for being on live with me. I appreciate it. Thank you for your patience with me as I was doing some computer glitchy things, but I really appreciate your time. I hope you learned a lot about the all seasons portfolio. So did I. It was a really good experience for me to look for these index funds and figure out where can I invest in gold and commodities. And so have a great day and be careful the fund. Make sure it is not actively managed. Only take a fund that is indexed. No actively managed funds, okay? All right. Have a great day. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already subscribed to my email list, go to yesfinanciallyfree.com, which is a link under this video. Put in your first name, your email address, and you will be on my email list. And then you will get broadcasts about when I'll be live and what I'll be talking about. Aloha, and thank you for being with me. Bye-bye.